the closure. I'm older and I'm moving faster than ever. I'm cold with it, whether for casters or whether it's 4 lines or more. I'm the master of never.
What's up, guys? It's Pastor Jordan. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while. I don't know what to say, man. I just have had a lot of stuff going on in my life. I got engaged. I'm planning a wedding, stuff like that. But I haven't forgot about you guys. And I had somebody ask me why I stopped reacting to Juice Wrld. I haven't stopped. It's not that I'm not going to do it anymore. I still will. I'm just kind of in this place where I don't really know what you guys want to see anymore. I don't really know what I want to do anymore. But I know lately you guys have been asking for Red Moonlight a lot. So we're going to hop into that. We're going to react to that. Some news. All right, some news that's different from normal. I haven't really been live streaming. If you're an artist and you want me to continue to live stream so I can react to your music, let me know in the comments. But if you're an artist or you're somebody just that vibes with me, somebody that feels like you connected to me because of the deep things that I share, maybe you have stuff going on in your home, maybe you have your own story, I'm gonna start a podcast pretty soon, and I'll post that to to YouTube and everything else, but I'm also gonna post it on all of the places where you can get podcasts, so Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everything else. And I kind of want to just interview people and talk to people about life, about childhood traumas, about adult traumas, about stuff that goes on in our lives, addictions, drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. If you're an artist, I want to interview you. I want to talk about your music. I want to give you a platform to speak and to share your truth and to really grow. So this podcast, it's coming soon. Eventually, when I get it posted, it'll be everywhere. You'll be able to access it. But if you're interested in being in a podcast with me, if you're interested in talking to me, hit me up on Instagram and let's talk and let's figure that out. Anyways, all of that set aside, this is Juice Wrld, Red Moonlight. We're going to react to it. We're going to hop into it. So let's see what we got. You guys have requested this a lot, so I'm excited to see what it is. Also, according to YouTube, most of you are not subscribed. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you like this video, if you like my content. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like it or if you change your mind, but it really helps me out. It really helps the channel out, and it would mean a lot to me.
Let's make love in the sunrise, yeah. Had enough hell in my life, yeah. Perks, purple lean, red moonlight, yeah. Did enough spells for one night, yeah. Let me run away from the drug life. Had me hiding pain with the wraith and the limelight. Sitting at the place in my heart and it ain't right. Taking to the curve for a girl from the white light. Emo as halo, that girl my type. She don't get it now, but she used to have a dark side. Bad dream, I woke up on the dark side. Nowadays when I'm high, get stuck in the dark side.
Dude, it's been a minute since we listened to some Juice Wrld. He says, let's make love in the... So this is about a girl, right? A lot of this is about a girl. He says, let's make love in the sunrise. Had enough hell in my life. Perks, purple lean, red moonlight. Did enough spells for one night. So he's basically talking about like his lifestyle. Like he kind of has drugs on the side, and then a girl kind of caught up with him, and then he says,
Perks, purple lean, red moonlight. Yeah, did enough spells for one night. Yeah.
He says, help me run away from the drug life. Been hiding pain with the wraith and the limelight. So he's basically saying like he's stuck in this drug life, he's stuck in this struggle, but at the same time the way that he hides his pain is through like joy, through living this extravagant lifestyle. He says, I'm hiding in the wraith and the limelight, basically saying like the way that I avoid my struggles, the way that I avoid my problems is knowing basically that I'm famous, knowing basically that everybody loves me. And that's a hard place to be. We did one song where he talked all about that, and that's probably still one of my favorite songs because he explains that even though he's famous, he still has the struggles on the side. This is something you have to realize about people. You never know what somebody's going through. They may on the surface look so good, they may look so happy, they may look like they have it all together, and those are the people that end up killing themselves because you get to this point where people think that they know you so well, and yet they know nothing about you. People think that they know Juice so well because he was so happy, he was so this, so that. And I know you guys, the real fans in the comments are like, no, we knew he was struggling. But for a lot of people, he looked like he was doing so well. And then on the flip side, he was addicted. He was struggling. And it says, Satan had a place in my heart and it ain't right. So he's saying he knew that Satan had a foothold in his life. You may not believe that he sold his soul to the devil. I don't believe that. But it is true that Satan had a foothold in his life, meaning Satan had a crutch for him. Satan had a crutch where Juice WRLD was dependent on something besides what God had planned for him. So you have to think about it. Does Satan have a place in your heart? Juice WRLD obviously didn't love Satan. He didn't want to worship Satan, but Satan still had a place in his heart, meaning Satan had control over him in some area of his life, and that was addiction to drugs. Maybe for you it's pornography, or it's drugs, or it's a girl that you can't get enough of that really isn't good for you, or a boy, or whatever. But you have to think about that. Does Satan have a foothold in your life? Because if he does, it ain't right. And I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say, dang, you're trash for having, no. Because he has footholds in my life. I have things that I struggle with. I have things that I have had to overcome, or I'm still overcoming. Because if I don't, I'm going to be in the same place. I'm going to be struggling just as bad. And that's where you have to get to the point of, is that you're on this quest for growth. You're on this quest for change in your life because you're not happy with where you're at. You have to kick the bad stuff out of your life. And if you just kick it out of your life, other bad stuff will come. You have to replace it with something good.
Away from the drug life, hiding pain with the rape and the limelight.
And then just to say that this song sounds so good. Just that needs to be said. This song sounds really nice.
Place in my heart and it ain't right. Taking to the curb for a girl from the white light. Emo's halo, that girl my type. She don't get it now, but she used to have a dark side.
So he says, demon wears a halo, that girl my type. So he's basically saying that another crutch in his life, another demon in his life, is the way that he's addicted to this girl, whoever she is. So it's obviously a bad influence on him, and maybe not because she tells him to do certain things, but if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, you know that that person's not good for you, but at the same time, you can't get enough of that person. And that's a really, really bad place to be. If you hear my air conditioner in the back, I'm sorry. I live in Texas. It's too hot to be without it. So if it's like, shh, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say, but demon wears a halo, meaning that on the surface, she looks bad, right? She looks like you can't get enough of her. But deep down, she's not good for you. And no, there's no person that's a demon, right? There's no people are worthless or bad or are just not good enough. But you may be a good person. You may be a demon to someone specifically, right? That girl is not a terrible person. That girl's not a demon, but she's Juice's demon because of the way that he views her and the way that he's connected to her in a toxic way. So remember, like I said, always remember that you don't know what people are going through, but be aware of how you affect other people, and be aware of how people affect you. If somebody's a bad influence to you, get rid of them or set boundaries. She don't know it now, but she used to have a dark side. Or she don't got it now, but she used to have a dark side. So he's basically saying, like, I know where she came from.
I dream I woke up on the dark side. Nowadays when I'm high, get stuck in the dark side. She look me in my eyes, send me love from the light side. That's how I know that I'm gonna be alright. Demons in my chest, they press from the left side. And my demons, they pressed on the inside.
That's just like a whole good. So he says, nowadays when I'm high, I get stuck on the dark side. So before, right, if you've ever done drugs, you know this. The first couple times, like your introduction into drugs, it's such a good escape. It's such a good way to escape your troubles. It's such a good way to escape your dark side. And then eventually, either because you get used to it or because of things changing or whatever, that high doesn't give you the same feeling anymore. It doesn't take you away anymore. Eventually, that high is just another part of your life, and that dark side is you can't escape from it anymore. That's the problem with your dark sides. That's the problem with your issues. You can run from them all you want, but eventually they'll catch up with you. You can get high to escape them, but eventually getting high will not be enough because they'll catch up with you. Ask anybody who's been addicted to drugs. A lot of you guys who watch me struggle with drug addiction or have, and you know that when you first got high, it was great, and now you're at this point where it doesn't even help you. It's just another demon on your back. It's another thing that you have to do that you're addicted to. Right? So now you had your demons that you were running from, and now the drug addiction is also a demon. She looked me in my eyes, send me love from the light side. So now he's talking about how this girl could be good for him. And maybe it's not the same girl, but he says she's looking at me and she's giving me love. She's trying to help me through that. That's how I know I'm going to be alright. Demons on my chest, they press from the left side. That's where your heart is. So he's just trying to get rid of all this stuff that weighs him down. And if you've ever been in that situation, you know that that's how it feels. You feel so compressed. You feel so just weighed down. He says, "Look at my demons, they pressed on the inside." I like that whole thing. I don't know. I'm sorry if my reactions are always too long. I can sit here and just vibe to it, and on my own I do. But when I talk about these songs, you could have one line, literally this right here and this one, just these two lines. I just talked for like 2 minutes on those because they're so deep, because they can go so deep. He's painting a picture of his entire like walk in life, and because we know so much about his life, it's so easy to look into these lyrics and say, wow, I really understand what he was trying to say. And you guys want me to do that. You guys want to see me do that. You guys want to do that with me. I love doing it.
My demons, they pressed on the inside. Dilated, high and wasted on them blues, yeah. Mix it with that purple heroin, fossil fuels, yeah. That's when I'm a different person. At that point, I'm not a person.
So he's talking about doing drugs, getting high. So it says dilated, high and wasted on them blues. That's a pill. It says mix it with that purple, lean, and fossil fuels. I don't know what fossil fuels is. Like, I know what fossil fuels are, but I don't know what he's referencing with those. So you guys let me know down in the comments. First one to say it, I will pin. But yeah, he's talking about getting high. He's talking about popping pills, drinking lean. I don't know about the other one. And he says that's when I'm a different person. At that point, I'm not a person. So he's saying, like, I get high and it changes who I am, and it's basically taking over my life to the point that I'm not me anymore. I'm not even human anymore.
At that point, I'm that's when I'm a different person. At that point, I'm not a person. At that point, my tongue is serpent. Doors unlocking, third eyes open. Growl with it, fuck it, howl with it, get wild with it, then crack a smile with it.
That was, first of all, that went so hard. It says, at that point, my tongue is serpent. So basically saying, like, at that point, I'm not trustworthy anymore. I'm not me. I'm not Wrld. I'm bad. It says, doors unlocking, third eyes open, growl with it, F with it, howl with it, get wild with it. So he's basically like equating himself to an animal, but then he's saying third eyes open. With certain drugs, this is a proven fact, with certain drugs that can be abused, people claim that it's like a more spiritual drug because a lot of more trippy stuff happens, right? More crazy stuff is going on. You smoke some weed, you're just going to be high. But you start doing acid or you start doing meth, those are what people call like spiritual drugs because they open up doors for like demonic stuff to happen. And he's talking about that, or like spiritual stuff, astral projection, crazy stuff. I'm not into any of that stuff. You guys have asked me that before. I'm not into any of that stuff. But basically getting to that point is that there's certain drugs where it's almost like they say like your third eye is gonna open. It's like a revelation drug, or like what did the Indians call it? I can't remember, but it was like a journey that they would go on.
Get wild with it, then crack a smile with it. Do your wrong, look in the mirror like, yeah, I did it. Drink that potion, red or purple. Throw your perkies in a circle. I started turning purple, coating cup, it running over, turning white.
And then again, when I reacted to that song, I don't know if it was Fighting Demons or the other one, but he says, my cup runneth over with codeine, and I was talking about like the biblical references, and people are like, nah, you're reading into it. Here it is again. He says, codeine cup, it runneth over. That's a biblical reference. And then look how I know. Because the next line, he says, turning water into codeine, like turning water into wine. And then he takes that and flips it to like his own lifestyle. He says, turning consciousness to comas. Bro, so good. He's such a good like lyricist. I can't even say writer because these are all freestyles, but it's just crazy.
In purple, coating carpet, runneth over. Turning water into coating, turning consciousness to coma. Now the devil standing over you, he smiling and he lurking. He laughing cause them potions that you mixing up was working. Oh no.
That's another thing. He just was so like aware of spirituality when it came to his drug use. And like I said, a lot of people feel very more open to I'm not even speaking English at this point. A lot of people feel more open to spiritual things when they're high on certain drugs. So he's talking about it. He's saying like I'm aware of these spiritual things going on around me when I get high, and I feel like the devil's laughing because I'm making choices that I know are not good for me. That's the thing. There are people who take drugs and they don't think that they have a problem, but drugs are always a problem. And when it really becomes a problem that you're aware of is when you're trying to stop and you can't. And that's where he was at. He knows that he shouldn't be doing this. He knows that he doesn't even want to be doing this, but he can't stop. That is drug addiction in a nutshell. And I get so frustrated when people are like, nah, just stop. Like, you're a selfish person for being addicted to drugs. It doesn't work like that. That's the whole point of addiction. If it wasn't like that, then it wouldn't be addiction. People with weight problems, or people with pornography problems, or people with any kind of problems. An addiction is when you want to quit and you can't, because you continue to do what you don't want to do because you're addicted to it. It's a chemical thing in your brain. It's a lot of times based off of emotional dependency and all kinds of other things. It takes time to overcome those things, and it takes a conscious effort. You can't just say after you've been doing drugs all this time that you're going to be done. And if you can, then you were never addicted. But if you can't, you know you're addicted.
Was working. Oh, now the third eye's closed. She put me on my sleeve, telling me it was something wrong with me.
And then I think this is a reference to when he knew this like the experience that he had. He talks about it in another song. I think it's Fighting Demons too. I'm not sure. You guys will tell me. But he says that he kind of like passed out and he was going through all this stuff and he thought he was gonna die. And then his girlfriend woke him up and he didn't tell her that something was wrong, because he didn't want her to worry, but he knew like this was some serious stuff. So he was on like a really bad trip. He was having some like basically saying like I was seeing stuff, seeing spiritual things going on around me. And so the third eye's closed, he's waking up, he's coming back to reality, and she's saying, what was going on? Like, you were crazy. And he says the third eye's closed, the Baphomet himself gets exposed. So he knows that he's basically saying, I saw Satan. I saw the devil. I saw my life being taken away from me because of these drugs. Yet I can't stop. That's heartbreaking. I've seen that happen to so many people. So many of you guys have sent me messages saying that stuff, and I can't answer every single one. But if you're watching this video, you gotta get help. You gotta get help, because it's true. It's true. The devil's up there. He's down there laughing at you, knowing he's gonna get you, knowing that your life is gonna be his, because you can't stop.
There was something wrong with me. The third eye's closed. Baphomet himself gets exposed. Let's make love this, yeah. Had enough hell in my life, yeah. Perks, purple, red moonlight, yeah. Did enough spells. Hiding pain with the rain.
I'm gonna skip some of the chorus just because I don't want to get hit with all these copyrights.
From the limelight, have a dark side. Bad dream, I woke up on the dark side. Nowadays when I'm hot, get stuck in the dark side. She looked me in my eyes, sent me love. They pressed from the left side, and my demons they pressed on the inside. Oh yeah, let them in my heart. I got the power to kick them out. I let little baby in my heart. She gon' and kick my demons out. I know there's perks around, but morphine be that shit that make me growl.
That's another one. So he says, let him in my heart. I got the power to kick him out. So basically, I don't know. That could be a few things. That could be like, I'm gonna overcome this. I'm gonna beat this. I don't care what they do. I'm going to win. But it could also be like the beginning of your life, the beginning of your struggles, where you're like, it's not really gonna, I'm not gonna get addicted. I'm not that kind of person. Those are the people who really get addicted because they take a drug and they say, no, I'm not that kind. I'm not gonna be the one that gets addicted. I'm just gonna try it. It's whatever. I'll stop whenever I want to. But they can't. And then he says, I let little baby in my heart. She go and kick my demons out. So she came and she was good for me. And then he also says, I know there's perks around, but morphine be that stuff that make me growl. And that's what I said. You get to a point where the drugs are not working for you anymore. So you either have to do more or you have to find a stronger drug.
But morphine be that shit that make me growl. When I miss it, I know that's my demons on the fucking prowl. On that road, I won't go down, but I can have drugs as an entree now. Feel like drugs help my feng shui out.
Yeah, see, again. He says, on that road, I won't go down, but I could have drugs as an entree now. Like before, you only take a little bit, it gets you really high, but I could eat my drugs as a meal now because I can take so many. And that's the truth. You start taking a lot of drugs, you build up a tolerance, and then you need more and more. The thing is, as far as you getting high, your tolerance goes up. But your liver, your organs, the tolerance does not go up. That's why people overdose. It's not because people are stupid. It's not because, unless they want to overdose, but then that would be suicide. But people who overdose are people who usually have built up a huge tolerance to these drugs and have to continue taking more and more to feel high. And the thing is, while they're barely feeling high, their heart is on double overtime. That's what happened to Juice. That's the kind of stuff that happens to him. And I'm not going to sit here and play with all the conspiracies and everything else, but anybody who overdoses, that's usually what happens, is they have to take so many that it's your heart, your organs are on overtime. They can't function with that many drugs. For people who want to overdose or purposely do it, that's a suicide attempt. That's different.
Go down, but I can have drugs as an entree now. Feel like drugs help my feng shui out. Bad energy, I better make a month go out. Wifey say she here to stay. She told me to cut all that shit out. How? Shit ain't been the same since I drowned.
He said, how? She told me to cut all that stuff out. How? That's the question, isn't it? Because you try and you can't. It takes more than just wanting to quit drugs. It takes more than just the desire to do it. You have to put in a lot of work.
I drown in it, she cut me down, really. I feel like death every time I'm coming down, really. Feeling like this when it come get me, but God sent her to get me.
That's another good one. I'm stopping a lot. Honestly, I don't even care anymore. If you came and you're pissed off that it takes too long, go somewhere else. In it, she calmed me down, really. I feel like death every time I'm coming down, really. So he's basically saying, like she helps me come down from my highs, but every time I come down from my high, I feel like dying because all of this regret, all of this guilt, all of this, also the bad feelings of being sober. When you're used to being high all the time, when you're sober, it's awful. You get the sweats, you get all kinds of different withdrawal symptoms. It's terrible. People who are quitting drugs, when they go to rehab and they have to go through like the first 2 weeks of withdrawals, those people are just literally in bed 24/7. They can't do anything. But they have like post-nut syndrome, you have post-drug syndrome, you have all of these things where you're wanting to stop doing something and then you do it anyways. Afterwards, you feel so bad inside. And that guilt can kill you. If you're trying to quit and you fail, and then that's how a lot of people stay stuck addicted, because they fail, they relapse, they do it again, and then they never keep trying. If you're quitting drugs, chances are you probably will relapse. For some people, they are able to quit and it's hard for them, but they're also able to just stop and that's it. But for other people, they have a lot of relapses, but they finally get over it. If you relapse, or you're the type of person that's tried and failed over and over again, don't stop, don't quit. Keep trying, keep working, keep studying, keep learning about how your body is addicted and why emotionally. What's leading you to need those drugs? What's leading you to need that thing? And overcome it. Work at it. Because you deserve to live a life that is going to be full of joy and happiness and purpose. And drugs hold you back from that.
Get me, but God sent her to get me, and my demons resent me.
A little bit.
But God sent her to get me, and why like this when it come get me. But God sent her to get me, and my demons resent me. Know they wanna come and get me. They wanna come and get me. Oh.
I know I'm skipping the chorus, but it goes so hard. I can't play all of that.
Place in my heart and you used to have a dark from the lights on the inside.
Yeah, that song went super hard. That was really, really good. Here's the thing with reactions. Here's kind of where we're heading. When we do a reaction, I can't play the whole song because then I'm no longer under like fair use. So I have to skip certain parts, I have to take out certain parts, I have to do that kind of stuff, because if I don't, not only can I get copyrighted and get demonetized, but I can get like a copyright strike and get in big trouble, because at that point they could claim that I'm stealing their content, and that's not what we're trying to do here, right? This is a 4-minute long video, and this video is almost 30 minutes long. And so we obviously know that I'm not trying to just steal content and make money off of it. I want to use this content as a creation, as a communication starter, right? As a conversation starter, so that I can talk about all these issues and really make a difference in people's lives. And so I can't play the whole song anymore. I can't do certain things like that, but I will play as much as I can, and hopefully it goes well. Most of the Juice WRLD videos are not monetized, but if they help people, I don't really care, right? I have my own job, I don't need this, but I do it because I want to help people, and I do it because I enjoy it. Like I said, if you're somebody who can talk about this kind of stuff with me, you know, you want to talk about your drug use, or you want to talk about overcoming that, or you want to talk about, you know, whatever it is, or you're an artist and you want some extra exposure and you have some deep things to say, let me know on Instagram and let's get you on this podcast. And other than that, man, make sure that you like the video, make sure that you subscribe, you do all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Emotion spiraling, a pilot screaming, Mayday, Mayday. Porn screaming, make way. Make room in your life, I'll be your Potiphar's wife. I'll ease your pain and your strife, I'll be your reason to lie, so you can eat with your eyes, make love with me in your mind. I've been looking for you, I just wanted to help you. I know you're struggling right now, it's been a while since I felt you. I know just a thing to ease the strain, that it overwhelm you. Just forget about your problems with the way that I touch you. I know you think about it, you open pics.